And today, the NDC in their tape, that's how I call it, because Frank Davis said it's doctored, you heard that already, and we have observed all kinds of things, but we'll get there. Today, Richard Jakpa, in his testimony on the recorded tape, a tape that Richard Jakpa was aware that he was recording, discloses the name of a judge, and still media people sit on radio and say, oh, we don't know who this judge. Have you been told not to mention the judge's name, and therefore you are expressing your professional discredits that you heard the tape? Please play it again. Maybe I'm wrong. Play it again.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we now officially know. We can no longer say it's a certain judge whose name we don't know. It is the distinguished Yoni Kulendi, Justice of the Supreme Court, one of the most distinguished barristers of all time in Ghana. And he's the Justice of the Supreme Court, in whose house this meeting occurred. Now we are getting conflicting signals. How many times did the meeting occur in the judge's house? Now, if the NDC is alleging all of these things against Godfrey Dame, that he wanted to cajole Richard Jakpa to change his testimony, in fact, to tell lies, did this occur in Justice Kulendi's presence? Was Justice Kulendi there when the Attorney General was convincing his cousin, his brother, that he should tell lies? And what did Justice Kulendi say? And did Justice Kulendi preside over these meetings where the NDC is alleging that Jakpa was being cajoled by the Attorney General to speak things that are untrue in order to incriminate Atuforsen, the minority leader? All these things happen in the presence of such a distinguished judge in the judge's house. The judge was the host of the meeting. All of these things happen in the judge's house, and the judge was aware about it. He knows that Attorney General was sitting in my house as a Supreme Court judge and trying to tell my brother that he should speak lies. Was the Supreme Court judge in this meeting? Play the tape again. Let's hear the name of the Supreme Court judge.
That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when Yoni Kulendi's place, anytime you bring this issue, that is my problem I'm having. Because me, for example, that is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue, me to go about my answer. That is the problem I'm having. Anytime you bring up this issue with Yoni Kulendi, when Yoni Kulendi's place.
Okay, so at the outset, we know who the judge is. No issues. We're not pussyfooting about this. We know who the judge is. And media people who tomorrow morning come and sit on me, they say, we don't know who the judge is. We don't know. Were you not in the press conference when I said you get here play the tape? the doctor tape. Were you not there when he played it? And in the doctor tape, did you hear Richard Jakpa mention Kulendi's name? Why then are we continuing with it? I don't know who the judge is. A name withheld. Please, please, please. Here on Good Evening Ghana, we don't do that. That's why we have been here for so long. We speak it as it is. It's blunt. It is Justice Kulendi, one of the most distinguished barristers and a particularly distinguished judge. It was in his house that this meeting occurred. Jakpa is related to him, and that's the reason why he offered to host this meeting. That's the matter of. We'll see that the fundamental theory that underpinned the conversation was a disagreement about the import of LC within the context of the prosecution. That's fundamentally that. The fundamental thing in the theory of the conversation is that the two parties are disagreeing on the import, purpose, validation, the veracity of the letters of credit. Attorney General thinks the letters of credit mean this. Jakpa says no, the letters of credit means that. That's fundamentally what's on the tape. Nothing more. As far as we are concerned, nothing less. Have a listen, viewers. Have a listen. This is the substantial part of the tape. This one covered most of it. Have a listen.
No, the LC is established as soon as you sign the contract. You establish the LC, and that becomes the security comfort for the supplier to invest money.
It says this is on site of goods and return upon the sign of the contract.
Yes.
For every 50 ambulances.
Yes.
Yes. Which contract is this? It's not a contract for every ambulance. So under this main contract, this was like the main contract.
The main contract, and LC for every 50 of the 200. You said so. So the contract is not saying that government should establish one LC, which is 15.8 million euros for the whole 200 at a go. No, government has a bulk contract of 15.8 million euros. Now this contract will become, the ambulance will become in tranches of 50 ambulances. So you establish your LC for the 50. When that 50 have been delivered and everything sorted out and handed over, another LC is established for another subsequent 50 until you finish all the 200. That is what the contract says. So the LC that was established.
Even then, no. I don't agree with your explanation. Even then, this explanation. That's not what happened in this case.
Okay, what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened. Yes, because the LC was established even before pre-shipment inspection.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
There was no pre-shipment inspection. So, so it means there was no basis for the LC to be established in the first place.
No.
Really not your problem anyway.
Right, that place, in that particular place, you are getting it wrong. If you may have patience for me to explain.
No.
You are getting it wrong there because when you establish LC, the LC had conditions precedent for it to be on it, and the condition precedent states that you can only cash the LC when you present shipping documents, which is bill of lading, to the Ghana International Bank of the buyer before the LC can be on it. So even though the LC was established upon the signing of the contract, was supposed to be established upon the signing of the contract, it cannot be cashed or on it. It becomes a form of security for the supplier to invest his own money. And when he ships the ambulances, he can then send a bill of lading to your bankers to then honor the LC, because that is a condition precedent.
But in any case, in this case, even the LC was actually cashed. Everything that payment was actually made before the goods were shipped.
No,
the goods got to Ghana.
No.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't have the supply. There is no way under the sun he could have cashed the LC before the shipping document, which were condition precedent, was presented to Ghana International Bank. Even when he presented the document to Ghana International Bank refused to honor the LC, raising issues of discrepancy, which came back to Bank of Ghana, which later went to the Ministry of Health, and then Animana authorized Bank of Ghana through Ministry of Finance to pay because they had sorted out the discrepancies with Big C. That time, around this time, the ambulances had already arrived in Ghana. You were not privy to this one, I'm telling you.
Yes, that was the main conversation. This was it. The conversation was about the LC as done. No, I don't think the LC. This is what it was about. It wasn't a conversation to say, I want to cajole you to say something to incriminate Atuforsen. And so you had Jakpe's aggression because he knew he was recording, and he's a military captain. I've said that already. And the circumstances under which he left the Ghana Armed Forces will be told to you, not today, but on Thursday. Because he knew he's recording, he was that aggressive. There's another matter about Jakpa that we have to look at. It's very complicated. That's a different matter. Thursday we're on him. All the text messages that he's exchanging with some people are coming and saying that, look, the guy you are talking about, he had this meeting with me. He said that about President Mahama. That's a matter for Thursday. Leave it. Let's deal with this one. So the conversation is about LC. It's not about telling you, says, Jakpa, how are you? Listen, you have to be careful. You have to say this about 247 so that I can jail him. Nothing like that. In fact, it's where you will see that there was an obvious attempt to amend the contents of the tape. In that part, the Attorney General clearly is heard saying, I do not need you to help my case. Because that has been the allegation of the NDC and the allegation of Sami Jemfi here. That the Attorney General wanted Jakpa to help him to be able to jail Atuforsen, and Jakpa said he won't do that. The Attorney General is heard saying it clearly. I do not need you to help, even in the doctor tape. Then after that, they are listening, so they hear that this thing the Attorney General said, it is going to affect what we want to do. So then Jakpa starts talking in a certain way. You see it. Please play the tape. Have a look.
What is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by it. But anyway, so that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal. So I'm looking at another person also going to go through ordeal, and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. About question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking, what is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by it. But anyway, so that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal. So I'm looking at another person also going to go through ordeal, and through me because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. Question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking.
All right, viewers, I just want to take you through a small exercise. We'll play the tape again. The place where we put the 4 stars, if you listen carefully, viewers, you will see that after Godfrey Dame, in a very low voice, I don't know why Japa was loud, because he was recording, he was very loud, and Godfrey Dame was quite low. Godfrey Dame says that I don't need to help me to do the case. In any case, okay, I don't need to help me do the case. It's fine. That's what the Godfrey Dame said. Then Japa is very loud and talks about, I have gone through ordeal. No, nobody is talking about. The man says, I don't need you to help me do my case. If you will not agree with me on what LC means, it's okay. We'll go to court and sort it out. No problem. I say LC is blue. You say LC is red. Okay, let's go to the court and sort it out. The judge will decide whether LC is blue or LC is red. I don't need to help my case. End of story. Then he goes on a tangent on, I have suffered, so I don't want another person, because he knew that he was recording and he was trying to build up this case. Very dishonest, very, very wicked people. Very wicked people. Terribly wicked people. Now, of Justice Kulendi. Now, this clearly shows that Japa is introducing. They're also not. They didn't resist the temptation to put out text messages, WhatsApp text messages. Let's put it out. And in doing so, they put some and release some. They put some and remove some. Why didn't they put everything out? Okay, I don't know whether our people have put it together. Have they? Okay. So let me read it as it is, and then we'll be handing over to the social media people. Richard Japa says, good afternoon, my brother. I'm Richard Japa, a junior bro of Justice Kulendi. Now, this clearly shows that Japa is introducing. He is introducing himself. He said, I'm Richard Japa, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. You intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. Then there's a message deleted. I'm humbly requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion. I'm most grateful for the kind gesture from you. Hope to hear favorably from you, sir. And then says, thank you. Then Godfrey Dame says, I will arrange through your brother. I am most grateful, bro. Something like that. Let's see what continues. He says that hope to hear from you favorably. I'm most grateful for the gesture. Thank you. And then here, Godfrey Dame says, I will arrange through your brother. Richard Japa is the one who reaches out to the prosecutor and says that I am Richard Japa. He's introducing himself, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. And he is telling the attorney that you have done something good for me. He says, you intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. I am humbly requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion. He says, I am humbly. This is the same guy who then comes, and you heard the tone of his voice, because today he knows that he's recording the attorney general and he thinks that he's going to get something major out of it. You heard the tone of his voice. Listen to the tone of his text and listen to the tone of his voice. You'll see a completely different person. This tone is different from the tone of shouting that I don't want another person to go to prison the way you want me to do it your way. The theory of the case, as Léaked calls it, a deal.